What's going on, everybody? This is CJW75 Hoop Masters video. And today, man, listen, everybody talking about this Blake Griffin, to Detroit Pistons trade. Everybody talking about it. Can the Pistons really make a push for the playoffs? Can they really do it? We're in the Eastern Conference. Okay, the Eastern Conference. It's not as tough as the Western Conference, but it doesn't matter. Do the Pistons have what it takes with Blake Griffin added to make it? Can Blake Griffin catapult him, push him? Can Blake Griffin do it? Can he say, I'm the missing piece to make this happen, man? People saying stuff like, I think, Stan Van Gundy basically was desperate to a change. He was desperate for something to happen, because if they would continue to be what they are without this trade happening, he would lose his job. That's what people were saying. Those are the things that were being said. Okay, so things happen. The trade goes down. People shocked. People wow, they actually did it. They got Blake Griffin. Okay. But is it enough, man, to really catapult them? Push them up. Push the Pistons, man, in the right direction. Can they make the playoffs? Can they really do it? And if they do, can they go deep in the playoffs for a serious run at the Eastern Conference title? Can they become the champions of the East and come out the East and face the Western Conference champion, which more likely is going to be the Warriors? It could be the Thunder if they do great. It could be, the Rockets. I guess that's possible, but regardless, can the Pistons make that push with Griffin added? I do not know, but I know for one thing, experts are talking. People are saying stuff, man. I don't know. You got Griffin, you got Andre Drummond. Those two are pretty much the centerpieces, man. They're the towers, Those are the main people there, right? Of course, you got Reggie Jackson. He's hurt. Once he comes back healthy, that's a good player, man. Reggie Jackson has a lot of energy. I think, he can be a factor for sure, Is he going to be like Chris Paul was when, him and Blake Griffin were playing with the Clippers? Of course not. He's not Chris Paul. Okay, but he brings some things in, man, that's going to help them as well. Then you got, young talent and Stanley Johnson. He's a great player, he's very athletic. I don't know. Is that enough to really make them a contender in the East? But you got to think something might happen good for them with this trade, man. We got the so-called experts right here saying stuff. You got David Aldridge, he's chiming in with his stuff, he says right here, I'm not trying to cop out on the question. And the question basically is this right here. The Pistons landed a star player in Monday's trade with the Clippers, but does Detroit have enough right now to make the playoffs this season? So David Aldridge, he's like, I'm not trying to cop out of the question, but I'm not sure. 4 games out doesn't sound like a lot with 30 or so games left. Okay, so you got 30 or so more games left in the regular season, and the Pistons are 4 games out. So he's saying 4 games doesn't sound like a lot of games when you have 30 games left in the season. Okay, but he's not really looking at it in a positive light. To him, it's a big question mark. It's a huge question mark. He says right here, I guess it's possible Blake Griffin could have a galvanizing effect, and that the ball will wind up in his hands of better shooters, scorers now for the Pistons than before. But chemistry doesn't usually happen that fast. Okay, that's true. Chemistry happens slowly. To really get good chemistry, it doesn't happen in a week or 2 weeks. Okay, if you're brand new to a team, and also people haven't played with you, like in the off season or on different teams, you're brand new to a whole system, to a group of guys they played against you, but they haven't played with you. So it takes time for that chemistry to build. So David Aldridge is correct. Of course, chemistry doesn't happen right off the bat. Is it possible? Anything is possible, but he's saying right here, chemistry doesn't usually happen that fast. Okay, he's saying right here also, Philly's going to get JJ Redick back eventually. Of course, Joe Embiid is getting close to back-to-back clearance. Okay, so it's more likely than not that Philly gets rolling again post All-Star. So what he's saying is basically, listen, JJ Redick, Joe Embiid. Okay, JJ Redick, he's coming back. Okay, he's going to be back for the 76ers. Joel Embiid, I mean, he's getting close, okay, to back-to-back clearance. I mean, basically, you know, he's going to be rolling again. He's going to be dominant. He's going to be the person that the Pistons, they have to contend up against. Drummond, Griffin, of course they can play against Embiid. They can play against the 76ers or any other team. But it seemed like the 76ers, the Pistons, they're going to be fighting for playoff, you know, contention. They want to make the playoffs. Both of those teams want to make the playoffs. But who has more in them to make it happen? What team has the more power, the more to make it happen? Is it 76ers or is it the Pistons? That's what it all comes down to, because those teams are not going to be like a fifth, fourth seed. I mean, they're going to be at the bottom if they make the playoffs. They're going to be at the bottom. See, they're fighting for that position at the bottom of the playoffs for the Eastern Conference. So is Blake Griffin enough, man? I mean, is he enough? Is he that missing link, that missing piece that can get the Pistons over? I'm sure the Piston fans are hoping. I'm sure Stan Van Gundy, I mean, I'm sure he's hoping as well. You know, he's like, we got to make a change. We got to do something different. And they did something different. They shipped 2 good players and third, you know, decent player, you know, in the big center that also went over to Clippers with Bradley and, you know, of course, Tobias Harris. And he also gave up 2 draft picks, okay? So they really want something to happen right now for the Pistons, man. You know, so Blake Griffin has a lot of pressure on him to be that player that's going to get them over that top. Of course, it all comes down to chemistry and health. If those 2 things work out in the Pistons' favor, man, I think they're going to be in the playoffs in the Eastern Conference Finals, man. Well, hold up. Let me revise that. They're going to be in the playoffs, playing in the playoffs. Okay, as far as making the Eastern Conference Finals, that's a big, gigantic question mark, because there's still good teams out there in the East. I mean, it's not as competitive and difficult as the West, but the East, you know, you still got some teams, man. You know, you still got Cleveland, even though Cleveland is struggling right now. You know, you got to think they're going to get themselves together and be a big factor in the East, you know, when it's all said and done. So you got Cleveland, you got Boston, of course. You still got the Raptors. You know, the Raptors, man, people sleeping on them. They're not easy. They're not easy to beat, all right? So the Pistons, man, you know, with Griffin now there, you know, Griffin, Drummond, Reggie Jackson coming back, you know, Stanley Johnson, you know, the young, athletic, tough talent they have in him. I mean, they got some decent pieces, man, to make something happen in the East, but I still don't know. So we'll find out. This saga will continue. It will continue. And we'll see what happens. I'm just looking forward to that February 9th. I believe February 9th, the Los Angeles Clippers will play the Pistons. And I want to see how Blake plays against his old squad. It's crazy to say that, man, because I just remember him playing 2-3 days ago against the Pelicans for the Clippers. And, you know, he pretty much won the game for him, basically. You know, he had big points and rebounds and stuff. But it is what it is, man. We're going to see if the Pistons can get over the hump, all right? We're going to see if Griffin, you know, will be the person that they need or not. All right? So we'll find out soon enough. But February 9th, I will be watching the game, without a doubt. Los Angeles Clippers against the Detroit Pistons, and we'll see what happens. Until next time, this is CJW75 Hoop Masters. Thank you for watching. Like the video. Appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel, man. Definitely appreciate that. Okay, until next time, I'll talk to you. Peace out.